Hello and welcome to Trending Tonight. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. Tonight, three separate reports from three different parts of India united by one theme, the crackdown on dissent. Jakob Lindenthal, a German exchange student, hauled up for attending protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Rabeeha Abduraheem prevented from attending her own convocation ceremony. And Hiramai Tiwari, a man from Mumbai's Wadala, who claims he was tonsured for speaking up against Maharashtra Chief Minister. Are we becoming no country for dissent? That's our big question tonight. But let's take you through each of these cases. First, the case of Jakob Lindenthal, the German exchange student studying at IIT Madras. He was hauled up by immigration authorities after he participated in protests both on and off campus in various locations in Chennai against the Citizenship Amendment Act as well as the crackdown on protesting students. Now, one picture shows him with a placard that says 1933 to 45, we've been there. Another one that says uniformed criminals equal to criminal. Of course, that earlier poster, perhaps a reference to Nazi Germany. Lindenthal was apparently questioned about his political views and informed that he was violating the conditions of his student visa and issued a verbal warning that his visa would be revoked. He has now left India. Home Ministry sources, however, say he was scheduled to go home to Germany for the holidays anyway, that he wasn't deported. But IIT Madras students are criticizing their institute, saying that the institute at least should have spoken up for the student. He still had a semester left to complete, but IIT Madras authorities are completely silent about this. Well, let's actually get up some reactions to that story. In fact, former Minister and senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram tweeting about that earlier this evening, saying the German is reminding us of a dark chapter in the world's history so that we may not repeat that in India. The student deserves our gratitude. Where are other students of IIT? They should protest against his expulsion, is what Mr. Chidambaram says. But on to the other story tonight. Rabeeha Abduraheem, a topper, a gold medalist in mass communications from Puducherry Central University, who refused to accept her medal during the convocation ceremony after she was asked to step out of the hall while President Ramnath Kovind was giving away awards and certificates. When Rabeeha was finally allowed in, this was after President Kovind had left the venue, she accepted her degree certificate but refused to take the gold medal as a mark of her protest. She said it was a big insult to her community. She also expressed hope that her act of rejecting that medal would convey a strong message to the centre. And of course, the third report coming in from Mumbai, where a man, Hiramai Tiwari, has alleged that he was thrashed. His head was shaved by Shiv Sena workers after he wrote against Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on social media. He said he'd commented on the Chief Minister's comparison of the anti-citizenship law protest with at Jamia Millia with the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and said that this comparison was wrong. He claims that 20 to 30 people beat him up and shaved his head. Well, let me go across first to Rabeeha Abduraheem, the young student who has now returned her gold medal, and she says that this is because she wants to send out a very strong message now. Rabeeha, why don't you tell us exactly what happened with you?
Yeah, hi. So yesterday was our convocation, and the student council had boycotted the event. The students studying in Puducherry had boycotted the event, and 4 members who were supposed to participate, 4 students who were supposed to receive their medals, they also have announced that they were boycotting it. And I felt that I have to be there present since it was my convocation. And it was sort of like, I guess, maybe what happened to me sort of gave me the courage to finally stand up. It finally gave me the courage to sort of take a stand against and give my solidarity to students who are protesting against NRC and CAA, because the reason that I found out that they had asked me to go out from the venue was the fact that they feared that I would protest.
So why did they fear this, Rabeeha? Why did they single you out, do you think?
They singled me out. At that moment of time, when they asked me to come out, they did not exactly tell me why. They did not give me a reason. They just said, we want to talk to you. And they let me outside and they closed the doors back in the auditorium. And the police around me also had no clue as to what was happening, but they kept telling me that maybe you're a suspect or something. That is when I realized that I have been very vocal on social media with regards to NRC and CAA, and with my student political background. Like I have participated in protests that when I was a student in Pondicherry University. I have stood up in front of many strikes that happened in Pondicherry. I have protested against ministers that had come, and I had a feeling that that was the reason that they asked me to step out. They singled me out from the crowd. And I know for a matter of fact that nobody else was asked to come out.
Right.
And since this was the reason that they asked me to step out, that they feared that I would protest, it just gave me the courage to stand in solidarity with everyone else who have boycotted the event, in solidarity with all the students of Jamia Millia, AMU, the people of UP who have actually faced police brutality, the students.
Rabeeha, I have to ask you this. Would you in fact have protested at your own convocation ceremony?
To tell the truth, I wanted to give a message of solidarity, but I had no intentions of disrupting my own convocations. I had no intentions of disregarding the decorum that I was supposed to maintain. For me, it was all about sending a peaceful message out there in solidarity with the students, and in sort of like taking this opportunity in my graduation to sort of send out the message that education is powerful when you stand up against injustice.
All right.
But the fact that they kicked me out, the fact that they sort of asked me to they told me to be outside, it sort of motivated me to reject my gold medal.
All
Maybe I might not have done that if they had, sort of told me to go out. Maybe I would have ended up just putting up a post afterwards, after the convocation is over,
right,
and everything, because I did not want to, destroy the decorum that was maintained. I wanted to keep peace, and I wanted to show exactly the power of education is.
Rabeeha, thank you for telling us your story. I would request you to stay on for the rest of this debate if you choose to do so, of course. But everyone has now heard from you, and I want to open this up. Yogendra Yadav, National President of Swaraj India, is with us tonight. Deshatan Nigam, political analyst, Professor Mridula Mukherjee, historian, and one of the co-signatories of the letter against the Citizenship Amendment Act is with us, and Professor Dinesh Mohan of IIT Delhi is with us. We'll also have Hiramai Tiwari, the man who was tonsured in Mumbai and a member of the Shiv Sena, to talk about that story. But first, Yogendra Yadav, to you. You were part of the protests in Delhi today, which went off peacefully. But when you hear Rabeeha's story tonight, or for that matter, the story of Jakob, the German exchange student, what comes to your mind?
First of all, if Rabeeha is listening to me, I just want to salute her. It's actually persons like her, youngsters like her, that fill me with pride. This is what I see, the future of India, this kind of act. All the three instances that you mentioned are instances of loss of liberalism. Technically, you can say foreign students should not be indulging in politics of any kind, but we have generally taken a generous view of these things. Most countries do. By taking such a narrow technical view, we actually present ourselves in the eyes of the world as a country which is very insecure about its own existence. 70 years after independence, if we continue to present ourselves as insecure, that's not a great sign. About the Shiv Sena incident, obviously no one is surprised. Shiv Sena has had a track record of doing these things, and whether it has an alliance with Congress today doesn't change the colors of Shiv Sena. To my mind, the larger picture is this. All our university campuses, and I'll speak primarily of the campuses here, they are being governed by petty administrators. Those who, universities were not governed. Universities were led by people with scholarship. Universities were led by people who had a broader vision. Increasingly, and I must say I do not blame only this government. Over the years, we have seen a diminution in the quality of leadership of university. And these petty bureaucrats who run the university, they want to treat university students like infants, who they are not. And in result, they get the kind of response they do. I heard Rabeeha saying that she was maybe planning to just put a post after that, but this treatment made her reject. Now, that's the reaction you would get from the youth. So the reaction that we are getting from all over the country, this youth protest, has that element. Students are saying, we are not infants, we have our mind, stop treating us like this. And this basic innate reaction to this is what is fomenting what is the youth movement in the country today.
Right, those are important points, and I do want some of our other panelists to respond to that. Dinesh Mohan, the fact that we haven't heard from the IIT Madras authorities at all, are you disappointed? You know, you're part of the IIT Delhi faculty. Are you disappointed in your colleagues there? You know, the fact that there's been complete silence from them.
Well, you know, as someone whose salary is paid by the taxpayers, my first duty is to tell the truth as I see it and stick by it, no matter who's in the government. Therefore, this idea of that students should not behave and object to what the government is doing is very stupid, because at the universities and institutes, we are supposed to teach people values. And when they leave the university, many of them, when they become rich or very important, they leave those values, so be it. But the students are taught values and they stick by it. And I think it's very important that the faculty members of universities and vice chancellors and directors of universities and institutions should support anything the students do which support values of democracy and freedom.
Right. Deshatha Nigam, a quick response to that, whether it's the German student or indeed Rabeeha Abduraheem, why would they be hauled up in this manner, one ejected from her own convocation ceremony, another, if not deported, certainly given a very strong warning, enough for him to pack up and leave instantly?
See, the fact remains that we do not have the version of the other side, we only have the version of these two people. One thing, this needs to be investigated deeper. And secondly, no written communication from the Government of India or the FRRO to the German student to leave. And since there is a Christmas, most of the Christian students from foreign students generally leave the country and celebrate Christmas in their own country. So this requires a deeper investigation. We have a version from the German student, but it cannot be blindly believed. Yes, while a German student was filling the form, there was a clear instruction there that he is being given visa for the stated objective and he has to stick to it. And then when somebody says uniformed criminals and then starts participating in the protest out here and something happens to him, say during the protest or something, it is the duty of the Government of India to look after his safety. Presuming that some kind of oral instructions have been given, I am saying presuming, not that it has been given, then probably it was for these purposes of safety. If he is getting on the streets, if something happened, the Government of India would be answerable to the German government. However, we do not have the other side of the story. This is just a version. So far as the issue of the girl rejecting the gold medal is concerned, it is within her right to do it. But at the same time, again, we do not have the version from the other side. It is just her version.
We don't have a version because the other side has chosen not to comment,
Deshatha
Nigam, whether it's the police.
I have a serious problem with this discussion.
Please hold on. This matter needs to be investigated. If she has been wrongly kept out, then it has to be something needs to be done about it. But unless and until you have the other version, we cannot jump to conclusions just by mere, somebody's version on it. And therefore, I would like to take an objective view, and since till the version comes from the other side, I would reserve my comments.
Okay, fair enough. Despite repeated requests.
There's a very serious issue here.
Yes, Dinesh.
Because in 1974,
yes,
I participated in anti-war demonstrations openly in the US.
Yes.
And I wrote in the university newspaper against the war, and no one deported me.
Right.
And I think it's a shame that a German student has to leave India just because he participated in
Please show
something.
me any written communication from
I'm
the
not interested
government.
in written communication.
Please,
The
then
way-
how can you draw your conclusion?
But the student himself, Mr. Nigam, has
Yes.
said it was a verbal warning, and that's something that immigration
No,
authorities.
that's one
seems-
version. That's
Yes.
his
I'm not
version.
interested
No,
in
apart from the
I'm not
apart from the
interested
one
in
version,
There is no
information
other version.
sources
India,
are to be
there
believed.
are
Gentlemen,
students who
please,
participate
neither of you can be
in
heard
a
right now.
normal
It needs to be
institution.
investigated
Why should
further.
it be investigated?
Why not?
No,
The
sorry.
truth must comes out. Truth must comes out.
Participated in a
Truth must come out. That is
shows
what
how
I am
intolerant
saying.
we are about normal democratic processes.
So you just want to believe everything without any
I'm not believing
investigation.
anything. I'm talking about
All right,
what
Dissent
normal
Nigam, my
society
simple
should do who are
question,
democratic.
if I could,
Not-
if I
not
could
fascist.
make my point for a moment, gentlemen, my simple question is really, where does it say in the rules and regulations or the terms and conditions of
I'll
visas
answer
given
you.
to students, where does it actually say that you cannot take part in a democratic or
I'll
peaceful
tell you.
protest?
There
It appears to be an unstated rule. In fact, if we can get that
No.
graphic up on our screens, this is
I'll
straight
answer
from
you.
the Home Ministry's website. Please let
Yes,
me finish.
Ministry of Home
This
Affairs
is a
guidelines.
list of do's and don'ts for foreign students living in India. And in the list of don'ts, it says, don't break the law or indulge in unlawful activities. If we can get that graphic up. Don't enter places of worship. Don't walk over or touch books or newspapers with your feet. Don't smoke or drink alcohol in public. So a list of 4 or 5 don'ts over there.
There is
Don't
more
break
to
the
it.
law or indulge in
I'll answer
unlawful
that.
activities. This was... how was this unlawful?
Let me answer.
How was this protest unlawful? No section 144 was in place at the time when the student was protesting either. Mr. Nigam.
Let me answer you. Ministry of Home Affairs guidelines are there. I do not know exact clause, but I read it today, and which is clearly saying that the visa is being given for the stated objective only.
That's all right.
And therefore, that stated objective is to study and do it. And then beyond that, then it's the responsibility of the
Well,
government.
by that logic, then, you know,
Let
he
me
can't
answer.
go to
Let
a
me
bar,
finish.
he can't
Let me finish.
spend
Let
an
me-
evening out with friends.
Ankita, let
You know,
me
that
finish.
could, that,
Let
that
me-
could be a wholly
Let me finish.
exclusionary
Let me finish.
list.
That-
Let
that
me
means he
finish.
can't take up
Why
a
can't
job
I be
or-
allowed to speak?
You're allowed
You
to
have
speak.
been
You've
speaking for
speaking,
long.
we are
No, no,
keeping
please
quiet.
allow
No,
others
I-
to
All of
speak.
us are
asking.
keeping quiet.
She's
All right,
asking-
all right, all right,
she's asking
gentlemen,
a
do
question.
not turn this
Don't
into
shout.
a...
You are.
No, I'm
Okay,
Let
okay,
me-
let's keep this peaceful.
let
Mridula
me answer, let me
Mridula Mukherjee, I'll come back to you in a
No,
moment.
because you asked a question.
No, no,
let me
of course, and I
This
do want you to
this
answer,
is
and
where
you're
the
saying that-
government of India's
Yes.
responsibility comes for the safety of the foreign students. That is where
He was
the
not
warning.
hurt.
No, he could have been. You never
Oh.
know. That is the government of India would be answerable to the German government. Then you would have again raised hue and cry if
No,
something had
no.
happened.
All
Then-
right, let's move on from this. Mridula Mukherjee, you know, there's a quote that keeps getting repeated right now, and that's the one about how people who forget history are condemned to repeat it. It's interesting to see the placard that this young man was holding up when he talks about 1933 to 1945, we were there.
Yes.
Do you believe it was the contents of that particular poster that's raised hackles?
Maybe it's quite possible, because after all he's making quite a strong statement when he's warning the Indian students and the Indian people that, you know, we have learnt through the hard way what all this is about. He's warning about fascistic tendencies. That's very clear. So obviously that is not something that's going to be liked by people in authority. But I think what's very important is that, you know, what this implies is that all these Indian students who presently are demonstrating in Chicago, in Paris, in Cambridge, in London, they should all be deported back to India. Imagine what will happen. I mean, come on, are we not a democratic, civilized society where we can take dissent, where we can take protest in the normal way? A country in which Annie Besant, an Irish national, could become the president of the Indian National Congress, the first woman president in 1917 in the middle of the First World War. You know, there's Charlie Andrews, Gandhiji's very close associate. There are any number of foreigners who fought for India's freedom struggle both inside India and outside. We didn't throw them out. I mean, the British didn't throw them out. That's what I'm trying to say. It's actually some of the things that are happening today in India in the last couple of weeks would actually put the British to shame. I'm sorry to say so. I'm a very, very ardent nationalist and a great critic of colonialism, but some of the things have shocked me. The way students are being treated particularly, the way communities are being targeted, the way the law is being flouted.
Right.
Even at the height of the Bardoli Satyagraha, when the whole of the Bardoli Taluka was non-cooperating with the British observed the law that after dark you could not enter a person's house. So the people would actually come back in the middle of the night to take their belongings and food and all that, because they knew that the police would not come.
Point taken.
I don't know what's happening over here.
All right, but does intolerance of dissent really cut across party lines? We have the example of Hiramai Tiwari, who's with us. Mr. Tiwari, what happened to you? Tell us very briefly. You're claiming that you were roughed up and even tonsured by Shiv Sena workers for your comments against Uddhav Thackeray.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this comment was regarding there is a cartoonist in the Rajasthan. So it was just a comment that there was comment nowadays came on. So it was not about Uddhav Thackeray. I respect Uddhav Thackeray because he's the respected CM of Maharashtra.
Why were you roughed up then?
So after 1 or 2 days after that post, that was about a cartoonist. So, but after 2 or days after that, I thought that people are taking very negatively this message. The Shiv Sena people are following this thing very negatively. They are taking. After that, I got a threat from their side that you will lose something if you will behave like this. You have to delete immediately your post. Then after 1 day, next day.
Mr. Tiwari, I have to say, your story is not really adding up at this point, and that's something that the Sena is also really sort of questioning. Mr. Gupta, I want to give you one quick chance to respond to what Mr. Tiwari is saying. What exactly happened? Were any of your workers actually responsible for this?
देखिए, ये जो शख्स हैं, इन्होंने सबसे पहले तो अपनी अभद्र भाषा में उद्धव ठाकरे साहब के खिलाफ 2 शब्द बोले, उन्हें टकला भी कहा और ना जाने क्या क्या बातें कही। जैसा कि इनकी डिमांड थी कि अगर इन्होंने कुछ गलत कहा था तो लीगल तरीके से इनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए थी, तो ठीक इसी तरह से हम भी इनसे कहते हैं कि अगर इन्हें अगर कोई बात बुरी लगी थी तो ये उस बात की संक्षेप में कहते, लेकिन इन्होंने जिस अभद्र शब्दों को यूज किया वो शब्द इन्हें यूज नहीं करने चाहिए थे। इन्हें सोचना चाहिए था कि किनके खिलाफ ये बोल रहे हैं। शिवसेना के अंदर हमारे पक्ष प्रमुख उद्धव ठाकरे साहब को एक सेनापति के रूप में देखा जाता है, उनका सभी बहुत आदर सम्मान करते हैं। उनके विषय में अभद्र भाषा बोलने से पहले इन्हें सोचना चाहिए था।
गुप्ता जी, मैं आपसे कहना चाहूँगा कि जो आप लोगों ने मुद्दा समझा है, वो मुद्दा समझने के बाद जब मैंने उस मैसेज को ध्यान से देखा तो मुझे लगा कि जो है ठीक है, हो सकता है इस मैसेज से अराजकता आ सकती है, तो मैंने उस मैसेज को दूसरे दिन डिलीट कर दिया।
डिलीट करने के बाद मैंने इंटरेस्टिंग डेवलपमेंट्स देयर। यू आर सेइंग दैट यू हैव डिलीटेड दैट मैसेज एंड it really, you're not even saying that you spoke out against the Chief Minister. So we'll leave this aside for now. But Mridula Mukherjee, very quick last comments to sum this up really, because I think the other 2 stories are the ones we really want to focus on at this point. A brilliant academic, a brilliant student who felt the need to return her medal, and she now seems to have actually set off a chain of reactions. We had a Banaras Hindu University student now also returning the degree conferred on him, and for that matter, this young German man. What do we take away from this?
Well, I think one of the things that we take away from this is that we must appreciate the depth and the strength of the sentiment among the youth today. We as a society and our government, everybody must try and understand where they are coming from and why it's happening. Obviously, the CAA and the NRC has given an opportunity for the voicing of this dissent. But you know, it started earlier with JNU over the hike in the charges. Everywhere, actually, the costs of education have been going up. The threat of unemployment, the insecurity, the intolerance, the general, I mean, young people are saying, is this going to be a country worth living in? And we older people are ashamed that we cannot answer as we used to with great confidence. Yes, it is, and it will be a country worth living in. And you must make it a country worth living in. But they've now fortunately decided they are going to take the lead to make sure that it's a country that will remain worth living in. Secondly, I think what is very important to see here, you know, in the campuses, as Dinesh was saying earlier, and Yogendra Yadav also pointed out, there's a complete change in atmosphere. Why should there be security personnel singling out and that to a girl student and asking her not to go in? Suppose even there had been a protest. Suppose she had a slogan. Suppose she had a banner. So what? Why are we so thin-skinned? This kind of protest, I mean, we have had those kind of protests in JNU against our own prime ministers. Nobody's batted an eyelid.
All right.
Never was there a lathi charge. Never anybody was punished.
This is about violence.
Student.
Where was the violence?
That girl
where was the violence?
A lot of violence.
You mean to tell me that girl was
All right, I'm going to have to call a close to this. We are completely out of time. We're completely out of time. Thank you for joining us on Trending at 10 tonight.